much, Senator Sheehy. Senator Duckworth.
Thank you, Mrs. Chairman. I am looking at a Fox News article dated February 24th, 2022, and it features Fox News commentator Pete Hegseth, and the headline is, Russia invades Ukraine in largest European attack since World War II. Can you tell me if Russia invaded Ukraine? Mr. Feinberg? I mean, Mr. Hegseth said it.
Yeah, I understand.
It's easy, yes or no. Did they invade Ukraine?
I don't feel that I should publicly comment in the middle of a tense negotiation when I'm not privy to the facts to undermine what potentially.
You're not privy to the fact whether or not Russia invaded Ukraine and started a war that's lasted for 3 years?
I'm not privy to the details of what's going on in the negotiation between Russia and Ukraine, what the sensitivities are, what the president's trying to accomplish. So I'd be afraid to speak out of turn and undermine that. I do have confidence the president is very skillful at this, and he'll find the right way to help the United States. He's the first guy that brought Russia to the table to even begin a conversation, and I think
the president is kneeling down to Vladimir Putin. I cannot believe the commander-in-chief of the greatest military on the face of the earth in my lifetime is bowing down to Russia. Let me just change the topic.
I don't
First,
see it
I'd like
that
to
way.
echo my colleagues in reinforcing my gratitude for the outstanding service of General Brown, Admiral Franchetti, and the other dedicated leaders who have been unfairly relieved in Trump and Hegseth's politically motivated purge of senior DOD leadership. Let me emphasize, this is not normal. The president does not typically replace nonpartisan generals and flag officers with his preferred choices. In fact, a president seeking to install loyalists among those who are supposed to give him the best military advice is highly concerning and dangerous, both to the good order and discipline of the uniformed services and to the country as a whole. Mr. Feinberg, we had a productive conversation the last time we met, and I actually enjoyed it very much. And I appreciate your frankness during that conversation. And I would like to reiterate my expectations for you should you be confirmed as Deputy Secretary of Defense. Given the utter lack of qualifications of Secretary Hegseth, who himself admitted he was going to hire people smarter than himself to help run the department, you will be the brains behind his leadership and lack of experience. You will be solely responsible for managing the budget and day-to-day operations of the DoD, and so it is imperative that you demonstrate to this committee and to the American people your ability to provide the stability, expertise, and leadership necessary to ensure that Secretary Hegseth doesn't run the department aground with indiscriminate budget cuts and unprecedented, politically motivated, and deeply damaging purges of highly qualified senior DoD leadership. Mr. Feinberg, I have asked this of every nominee before this committee, including yourself in my offices. If President Trump or Secretary Hegseth asks you to do something illegal, will you refuse to obey an illegal order?
I won't obey a legal order, and I don't believe either the Secretary or the President will ask me to do that.
Thank you. Should you observe misconduct that is unbecoming or unlawful, will you report it?
Yes.
Thank you. Like I said earlier, you are it. You are second in command. The responsibility of an executive officer in the military is not only to execute their commander's vision, but to be a voice for his staff and manage the ins and outs of his command. Mr. Hegseth will not manage the minutia. You will. Mr. Feinberg, I would like to know, what are you going to do if the Secretary of Defense orders the pausing of a program critical to the readiness of the services?
I'm sorry, Senator. Orders? What?
A pausing of a program that is critical to the readiness of our military services.
Obviously, I work for the Secretary of Defense. If he does something that I think is a real problem, I will tell him. I will give him my view. Ultimately, I will follow the chain of command and execute what he wants, as long as it's lawful. I do think that he will make good decisions. By the way, Senator, I also hope that we can hire, if confirmed, a ton of people, a heck of a lot smarter than yours truly. It's great to bring in talent.
It doesn't take a lot to be smarter than our Secretary of Defense and be more qualified, so that's a low bar indeed. Many of our recent nominees have been talking about hypotheticals, but I'm glad that you're talking about some of the decisions that are being made. Mr. Hegseth has already shown a willingness to make some bad decisions. I mean, he ordered DoD to hastily propose an 8% across-the-board budget cuts to the budget, while exempting non-mission essential expenses like the DoD's activities on the southwest border. Mr. Feinberg, the DoD isn't a place where we can afford to make mistakes. Are you going to allow an inexperienced team of software company interns to look at our most critical defense programs and make decisions that may impact our national security. Who's going to be at the wheel?
I'm sorry, you
Are you
said.
going to let Doge in there and start making cuts?
So at DOD, and the Secretary said this, we are responsible for our own people. We are responsible for our actions and policies. DOD is in charge of itself. So no, Doge is not in charge of DOD. We're looking forward to working with Elon Musk. He has great expertise and talent, understanding, his great understanding of so many different things in DOD. He'll provide counsel and advice. We're looking forward to hearing that. But in the end, DOD is accountable to itself, must make its own decisions for its people and its policies, unless, of course, the president says, I want you guys to do this or that, and then, of course, we're going to do it.
Unless it's illegal.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Duckworth. Senator Banks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Feinberg, thank you for your incredible